When dealing with blinking lights in a residential setting, particularly in a bedroom circuit, a systematic approach is essential for efficient troubleshooting. The scenario presented involves a 3-bedroom circuit experiencing intermittent light flickering and complete outages, suggesting a potential issue within the electrical system. Given the typical bedroom load consisting of a television, alarm clock, and other small appliances, the problem is unlikely to stem from simple overloading, but rather from a loose connection or a failing component. Firstly, the initial step involves a visual inspection of the light fixtures exhibiting the blinking behavior. One should check the bulb itself, ensuring it is properly seated in the socket and not nearing the end of its lifespan. A loose bulb can cause intermittent contact, leading to the observed flickering. Replacing the bulb with a new one is a simple test to rule out this possibility. Secondly, if the bulb is not the issue, the focus shifts to the electrical connections within the fixture. The fixture should be de-energized by switching off the corresponding circuit breaker in the electrical panel. Once energized, the fixture can be carefully disassembled to inspect the wiring connections. Look for any loose wires, corroded terminals, or signs of overheating, such as discoloration or melted insulation. Any loose connections should be tightened securely, ensuring proper contact between the wires and terminals. Damaged wires should be replaced or repaired using appropriate wire connectors. Thirdly, if the problem persists after addressing the fixture connections, the next area of investigation is the electrical outlets within the affected bedrooms. Given that multiple bedrooms are on the same circuit, a loose connection at one outlet can affect the entire circuit. Each outlet should be inspected, starting with the one closest to the light fixture exhibiting the problem. Again, the circuit breaker must be turned off before any work is performed on the outlets. The outlet cover is removed, and the outlet is carefully pulled out of the electrical box. The wiring connections at the back of the outlet are inspected for any looseness, corrosion, or damage. Loose wires should be tightened, and any damaged outlet should be replaced. Pay close attention to the wire connectors used to join the wires, ensuring they are properly sized and securely fastened. Fourthly, the investigation extends to the switches controlling the lights in the bedrooms. Similar to the outlets, the switches should be de-energized before inspection. The switch is removed from the electrical box, and the wiring connections are checked for any looseness or damage. A loose connection at the switch can cause intermittent power supply to the lights, resulting in the blinking behavior. The switch itself may also be faulty, causing internal arcing or intermittent contact. If the switch appears to be damaged or faulty, it should be replaced with a new one. Fifthly, if the problem remains unresolved after inspecting the fixtures, outlets, and switches, the focus shifts to the electrical panel. The circuit breaker controlling the affected bedrooms should be inspected for any signs of damage or overheating. A loose connection at the circuit breaker can cause intermittent power supply to the entire circuit. The circuit breaker should be securely seated in the panel, and the wiring connection should be tightened. If the circuit breaker appears to be damaged or faulty, it should be replaced by a qualified electrician. It's important to note that working inside the electrical panel can be dangerous, and it should only be performed by qualified personnel. Sixthly, consider the possibility of a neutral wire issue. A shared neutral wire that is loose or improperly connected can cause erratic behavior in a circuit, including blinking lights and intermittent outages. The neutral connections at the outlets, switches, fixtures, and electrical panel should be thoroughly inspected and tightened. A voltage drop test can also be performed to check the integrity of the neutral wire. Seventhly, the age and condition of the wiring in the house can contribute to electrical problems. Older wiring may have deteriorated insulation or corroded connections, leading to intermittent contact and voltage drops. If the wiring is old or damaged, it may need to be replaced by a qualified electrician. Replacing the wiring can be a significant undertaking, but it can improve the safety and reliability of the electrical system. Eighthly, the presence of aluminum wiring can also be a factor. Aluminum wiring is more prone to corrosion and loosening than copper wiring. If the house has aluminum wiring, it should be inspected and maintained by a qualified electrician. Special connectors and techniques are required to ensure proper connections between aluminum and copper wires. Ninthly, if the blinking lights are accompanied by other electrical problems, such as flickering lights in other parts of the house or appliances that are not working properly, it may indicate a problem with the service entrance or the utility company's equipment. In this case, it is important to contact the utility company to investigate the issue. Tenthly, the presence of furniture obstructing access to outlets can complicate the troubleshooting process. Moving furniture is necessary to gain access to the outlets and switches for inspection and repair. This may require additional time and effort, but it is essential for a thorough investigation. Considering all these factors, an experienced journeyman electrician should be able to diagnose and resolve the blinking light issue in approximately 30 to 45 minutes. This time frame assumes that the problem is relatively straightforward, such as a loose connection at a fixture, outlet, or switch. More complex problems, such as wiring issues or problems with the service entrance, may require additional time to diagnose and repair. The actual time required may also vary depending on the electrician's experience and the specific circumstances of the situation. Furthermore, the electrician will use tools such as a multimeter, wire strippers, screwdrivers, and possibly a non-contact voltage tester to assist in troubleshooting. The multimeter can be used to measure voltage, current, and resistance, which can help identify faulty components or wiring problems. Wire strippers are used to remove insulation from wires without damaging the conductors. Screwdrivers are used to tighten and loosen screws on fixtures, outlets, and switches. The non-contact voltage tester can be used to detect the presence of voltage without directly contacting the wires, which can be helpful for identifying live circuits. When troubleshooting electrical problems, safety is paramount. Always turn off the circuit breaker before working on any electrical components. Use insulated tools to prevent electric shock. Wear safety glasses to protect your eyes from flying debris. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to call a qualified electrician. Working with electricity can be dangerous, and it is important to take precautions to protect yourself from injury. In summary, troubleshooting blinking lights involves a systematic approach that includes visual inspection, checking connections, testing components, and considering environmental factors. With proper knowledge, tools, and safety precautions, an experienced electrician can efficiently diagnose and resolve the problem. Remember that this information is for general guidance only and should not be considered a substitute for professional electrical advice. Always consult a qualified electrician for any electrical work.